All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Worx Podcast. So the Worx is the new name for the Champions of Small Business podcast. We changed the name for a couple reasons that I will address in another video, but I don't want to talk about myself. I'm sitting down with Tim Myers today of Revolutionary Hot Sauce Eatery Brewpub. He is right in Mechanicsburg. Tim, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
It's fine. It's good to finally meet you. I've been following you for a long time since you first opened up, and I've been jumping at the chance to finally sit down and meet you. So I appreciate you coming in here, man.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here, and glad we can finally do it. And the studio looks awesome.
Place looks good. Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you before, if I want to tell the story of businesses and people in this area, got to make them look good. Shooting it on an iPhone and one microphone just wasn't cutting it anymore.
Right.
So we had to finally pull the trigger and make things look good. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me about Revolutionary Hot Sauce. I know you guys are right in Mechanicsburg there. Tell me a little bit about what you guys do over there.
Well, I mean, if you want to start at the beginning, it started about 6 years ago. I was originally got interested in home brewing because I was working a job for like 15 years that I really didn't care about. It really wasn't inspiring or creative.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a creative person, so I started home brewing at home, and I started taking my stuff to competitions and things like that, just for fun, see what would happen. Had a little bit of success, but it was more about meeting people and the community, craft beer community,
right?
Which led to like a lot of breweries collaborate and things like that, especially the smaller ones. So that was really cool, and I liked that. And then eventually, I just started making some hot sauce at home about 6 years ago. I was like, oh, I think I could do this. It's similar to brewing in a way.
Yeah.
Actually, a little easier.
It's easier.
It's easier and cheaper to start. Yeah. You don't need a lot of equipment.
Right.
You just need to kind of have an idea and know where you're going a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I just started making some sauce, got it for sale at the end of like that year. I'd started near the beginning of the year. Had 3 sauces that I was comfortable with like saying like, I think these are good.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And
now what year was this?
2018.
2018. Okay.
2018.
Okay.
Yep. I was still working a full-time job and all that. For like another 2 years, I would do that. And I was just going to like small,
like craft shows,
beer festivals, things like that.
Yeah.
Selling on the weekend whenever I wasn't working my full-time job. Every other weekend, maybe something like that. And then, one thing led to another. I had a chance to I was also brewing for the Vegetable Hunter in Harrisburg.
Yeah.
For like 2.5 years.
I
was also doing that on the side.
That's the vegan restaurant, right?
Vegan restaurant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. That was downtown Harrisburg. They only had one location at that time.
Yeah.
And so I was able to do that as well. And that was creative and fun. And then at a certain point, I had a chance to become the brewer at, what's it called? Riverbend in Newport.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was just going to say Riverbend. I wasn't familiar with that. That's a brewery?
It was a brewery and a restaurant.
Nice.
Like a event space for
Okay.
weddings, kind of
okay,
in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, Newport.
Yeah. So I was doing that for like 7 months, maybe. They let me go because they couldn't afford to pay me anymore. And then the pandemic kind of killed everything at that point.
Yeah.
But they let me go right before the pandemic kind of, and I was gonna just like at that point I was gonna decide to go full time with the hot sauce. I was like, I think, I could do it, possibly pay the bills.
Yeah.
Maybe. And so I just went all in and started, about 2 years in full time.
Nice.
So
you went full time kind of right at the beginning of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, it was right before the pandemic. And then the pandemic hit. And then all those beer festivals and everything got canceled for like the whole next year.
Yeah.
The only thing I could do was go to these local like markets.
Yeah.
Like the one in Carlisle. There was one in Shippensburg. There was one. I went to like Roots Market in Mannheim every Tuesday.
Yep. So you were going to like Farmers on the Square in
Right,
Carlisle?
Farmers on the Square.
Yeah, because that's where they were able to stay open because they were like
outside market.
Like an outside market. Yeah,
with masks.
Yep.
And everything.
Yep.
And then and 2 markets on Saturdays. So I would run one, my girlfriend would run the other, or a friend or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that was enough to kind of keep going and pay the bills, and it was good for local, kind of building a local following.
Sure.
Everybody was like wanting to support local at that point, which was great.
Yeah, there was a nice little push, nice little initiative that started,
and that ultimately led me to some of the collaborations that I've done as well, meeting other vendors who are kind of doing similar things, like the coffee, the popcorn, the nuts and pretzels are all collaborations.
Yeah.
And even the hot sauce, there's multiple collaborations with the different hot sauces as well. So.
What's the coolest collaboration that you've done? Because I think I just saw one. You did one with Elementary
Coffee.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love those guys.
That one's called Hot Java.
Nice.
It's a more milder sauce. It has some cherry and coffee elements to it.
Yeah.
Really great for like barbecuing.
Nice.
Yeah,
I got to pick one up. Yeah.
Things like that.
Nice. Love it.
That one's fun. I also did a collaboration with Smokin' Pickles, which is where the restaurant is now.
Yep.
Where he was cold smoking 3 of the ingredients for that sauce. And so that was a fun one as well.
Nice.
And there was other ones too. I did one with a YouTube channel, 7 Pot Club.
Yeah.
And the Scissor Bros.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about Scissor Bros. I kept seeing that on your site. It looked like you guys did a lot of
that. Was Jeremiah Watkins and Stevie Weeby, and they started a podcast. I just started watching it immediately because I kind of followed Jeremiah already, I think, and it was just a fun, stupid podcast where they would do silly competitions and stuff. And then I met them at Soul Joel's, and took them sauce. I do that sometimes when we go to see people.
For sure.
And I was like, hey, what do you think about a collaboration?
Yeah.
They're like, cool. I made like a bunch of different test batches, sent them to them.
Yeah.
They taste tested it. And they're like, all right, let's go with this one.
Nice.
And so I'm still making that one today. So even though the podcast has ended.
Yeah.
But I'm still making it. So.
But the sauce sold well. So you.
Yeah. I mean,
keep
and that sauce kind of filled a hole that I had in my like repertoire.
Yeah, nice.
So people enjoy it.
You know that we're gonna have to talk about a sauce collaboration now.
Oh yeah.
Because my mind's immediately, I'm like, okay, DreamWorks,
the Worx
Orange, the Worx hot sauce. We have the Worx beer that we just came out with. Now we need the Worx hot sauce.
Yeah, that could be a thing.
And I could see it like an all around sauce. It's like the Worx. It works on everything.
Yeah, it works on everything, right?
Man. So yeah, I love that. That's super cool. So now all I can think about is hot sauce. I'm just I got
the brain going now.
Thrown totally off track just thinking about like a hot sauce we could make.
Yeah. So I was doing that for like 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And then Smokin' Pickles came to our knowledge that they were going to leave. We were already working with Rebecca Urick from downtown, the rehousing development program. And so she like helps people to get loans for projects and things like that.
Yep.
So I wasn't really necessarily looking to open a restaurant, but it was like an opportunity.
Yeah.
And so then we just went for it.
That was one of my questions that I wanted to ask you is like
very scary.
Yeah, like so prior to opening the restaurant, had you ever worked in the restaurant industry before?
I mean, I worked at Dickinson College when I was a kid.
Okay.
I worked in like washing pots and pans and kettles and mopping the floors. And then I worked in the storeroom actually in Dickinson where we would receive all the food, rotate it, all that. So I kind of knew all that back house kind of stuff.
Sure.
And I even did some cooking on the serving line. And I worked out there as well, like putting food out for kids and things like that. So I had a little bit of experience. Not really a chef per se.
Yeah.
But I love cooking shows and I watch a lot of that stuff as well. So, but with all the hot sauces already made, it kind of lends itself to well, these are good on this, and that.
Yeah, because you were already making the sauces kind of for an intended purpose, right? Like this.
Yeah. Most of my sauces are kind of, they're not broad range. They're kind of specific.
Yeah.
And they're going for a specific flavor and profile.
Right.
And so, like the Hawaiian Express is great on tacos.
Yeah.
Or al pastor.
Yep. Yeah, something that lends to that.
So it's just like, all right, well, we need to put tacos on the menu because we have a few different sauces that
work with tacos. Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of helped me to, think about the menu and get that set up. And there were certain things that I really wanted to do, like the Nashville hot chicken sandwich, because
classic.
I would always, around here, you can't find like a really good one.
Right.
You'd have to go to like Tennessee or Nashville or something like that. And so that was one of my big goals, was to just create that as authentically as possible, and bring that to Central PA because I felt like we didn't have it.
Right. Yeah.
And then I made a sauce to go on that sandwich to kind of bring it all together.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I went in a little hard on, there's one other hot chicken place in our area
new one?
Yeah, the new one.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up going in on them a little hard because I drove by one day and there was like a line around the block like to get into it. And I was like I tried it. I was like, it's not that good. It's not that good.
I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard people saying this.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just,
it's okay.
Yeah. And like, that's what it was. It was pretty okay, but it was like a drive-through going to a Chick-fil-A, like very minimal experience. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was kind of like, it comes with a piece of white bread and like whatever, but like, and then I drove past your place and I was like, what the, like, I was like, there's a place right down the road here that's serving like an awesome chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
And like people are driving past that place to get to this new place just because it looks really fancy and they have all the money in the world to grab the best real estate,
right?
High traffic area. And I was just like, I think it was at that moment that I think I reached out to you or you reached out to me or something. And I was like, dude, we gotta get together.
Yeah.
We got to get together. My apologies to the other large chicken restaurant. Please don't come after me. I have the purest intentions. Your chicken sandwich is fine, but I prefer his chicken sandwich. So this is America. This is America. I can say that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we use all the best ingredients we can get,
Yeah.
From the chicken to the bread to the breading we worked on for months to like get it exactly how I wanted it. And, and then with the sauce on it, with the pickles, it's just, I think it's stellar. And I hope more people come and check us out. Cause we get people every single day that say they've driven by or they had no idea that we were there.
Yep.
And once they find us, then they're like, pretty happy that something like that is here now.
Right.
So.
Yeah, man. I love what you're doing. I love the sauces. I love the story. I love, that you saw this opportunity and you weren't even necessarily looking to get into the restaurant business, but it's, if the opportunity presents yourself, sometimes you have to act before you think, because most people,
right. Yeah. You think yourself out of it.
Exactly. You're going to think yourself out of it. I know that's a shortcoming of mine, right? That's why I think I have written up on my wall, done is better than perfect. Because you'll never have all the information that you need to make the right decision, and you'll always find a reason not to.
And you may never be perfect.
And you may never be perfect, but if
that's
you can,
the fun though, right? Like trying to get to perfect or close to it. Yeah,
as close as you can.
And
that's something I learned pretty early in business. Was like someone said, if you can get 80% of the way there, go. Because if you wait to get to 100%, you'll never get there.
Right.
And you'll lose your steam getting there or something. But yeah, that's really cool. So take me to that time when so Smoke and Pickles was getting ready to head out.
Yeah.
And you were working to open the restaurant. What did you Like, what did you have to do? Did you have to go get serve safe certifications?
Yes.
Go through all of that, like finance equipment and all that kind of fun stuff. Take me to that bit of time.
We had to get the new place registered with Department of State.
Yep.
And did our EINs.
Yes.
Everything in alignment. And, it was, I have a good friend who used to cook and was in the restaurant business. So we talked to him a little bit, and we talked to some other people who helped us a little bit. But it was just, I don't know, it's just like, it was like step by step. First, it was like, can we get the loans?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a process in itself.
And yeah, because I was, I didn't want to start paying for rent until I knew that we were actually going to be able to do it.
Right.
So we signed a lease and without even before we, had the loans.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, whatever.
So luckily we got them, and
yeah,
we were able to pay the rent, but like the loans ran out by the time like we were opening pretty much.
Yeah. So you had to start. It was like
we spent minimally as much as we could, but it's you don't even realize how much what things cost.
Yes.
And what you'll spend, and so it's it's still a little bit of a struggle, and it's we need to be a little bit busier. So that's why I'm coming on the podcast, and,
for sure,
and trying to promote wherever I can.
Absolutely.
Some ways of promoting are way too expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yep. And that's
just trying to make friends and get the word out there any way I can. So.
I mean, that's the best. The best marketing is word of mouth marketing, and
I think once people find us, then they're like, this is our place now, maybe, or one of our places.
Exactly.
Which is really cool. And word of mouth is the best,
Absolutely.
If your friend tells you to go somewhere, then you're probably going to go there.
You're right.
As opposed to like a pop-up ad or
something
like that.
And that's why I want to join the Downtown Mechanicsburg partnership, is to just bring awareness to businesses like yours and all the awesome businesses that are like, again, to get to the Carlisle Pike, to go to all the corporate, chain franchise stores, you have to drive past a lot of great local spots.
Right.
Yeah,
Mechanicsburg kind of gets forgotten sometimes.
For sure.
Like I'm in Carlisle. I live in Carlisle, but and I've, I'm guilty of the same thing of like,
for sure, I
would drive around Mechanicsburg to go wherever I was going to go. And, you don't realize until you go down and see what's down there.
Yep. Yeah. And that was the basis of this whole podcast was, I had read some data one day that said if you shop at a local business, statistically, 70% of that money stays in the community. Whereas if you shop at a non-local business, only about 30% of that money stays locally. Right. So you can double how much money you're pumping into your local economy. And then I was like, this is interesting. What if all the people over the age of 18 that were able to make a buying decision just once per week went and supported a local business for $50? And shame on me, I don't have the math in front of me again, but it was in the hundreds of millions of dollars that you could put back into our local economy to help pave our roads, to help put our kids through the best schools with the newest books and all the things, get a better police force, better, just everything, and that's the whole basis of this entire podcast. And that's where that's my why behind this whole thing is like,
it's a good why.
Yeah.
It's a good why.
It is a good why. What's, this is always a hard hitting question that I ask people, but what's your why? Why do you get up every day and do what you do?
Well, I don't know. It's the drive to be creative and the drive to, like I would be listening to a podcast and people talking about what they do and why they do it. And I just wanted, I'm not going to be a doctor or could be a fireman, I guess, or, someone who really contributes to the world. But I wanted to do something, and I know that I'm creative and I could, kind of why I started making the beer. I think I was bored when I started making the beer.
Sure.
But then it kind of changed to what can I make, that's, going to give like somebody enjoyment, maybe. It's going to fulfill my need to create and feel validated or whatever. But it's also going to like make people enjoy their meals more or whatever. And I'm like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
That was kind of the whole why behind it is I want to be creative. I want to create stuff that you can see and hold in your hand and enjoy.
So talking about creativity, I think this is an interesting one. I'm a super creative person as well. And I own a roofing company. And one of the things I struggle with is like, where is that cross point between creativity and doing things that actually benefit your business? And something that I struggle with, I try to do things that are maybe too creative, and it's like, it's a roofing company. Nobody gives a shit, like, so where, like, was that a struggle for you to find like the balance between creativity and business sense? Or is that something that you struggle with at all? Because I think it's an interesting question that I think for people who have a drive to want to do something creative that,
I mean, I don't know, like I would get up early to start making sauce right in the beginning. And I was still, back when I was driving truck and delivering ice cream, which is what I did before.
Ooh, let's talk about that then.
So I would just listen to whatever, Howard Stern, podcast, Joe Rogan, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, we've learned that like, that's like an enriching thing where you can be, a lot of people can be working, but also learning and educating themselves just through listening. Yeah. Which I found really cool. Yeah. And so like I would get up early in the morning. I would put on some kind of either music or podcast or something. I used to be in a band too. So musically I was into that. Yeah. Wanted to do that. And so, yeah, I'd be making the sauce, which is the creative part, right? So part of it is like coming up and doing like the test batches. Yeah. And like refining and changing things until you get to that point where you're like, I don't know if it can be any better than it is right now. Right. Then we'll make it a sauce right then, right? Yeah. That's basically what I do. I have a couple people taste it. I'm usually like the one who's making the decision.
You make the call.
Yeah. Which I guess it should be that way.
Yeah. But, you're the sauce. You're the sauce master. Your face is plaster on everything.
So yeah, but then the other part of it, that's the first part. Then the second part is like making it in bulk or making enough to take and sell. Yeah. Somewhere at a store, setting up at a location, whatever. The branding and everything, that was a big part too. Yeah. And luckily I have a great friend who helped me with that, James Crable. He's an artist. He works at Dickinson in their department. And then, he was helping me to create the logos and the labels and everything. Yeah. Yeah. That's a constant thing you got to be thinking about. It doesn't even register to me about every new sauce you put out. You got to think about the branding, think about the label. Right. Right. So, and you find it same with making the sauce or any of that. Yeah. Once you kind of have a way that you do it, it becomes easier. Right. The more you do it, the more times you do it. So that was really cool. Yeah. So that's like the second part. And then the third part was like going, usually later the day that I already made sauce, I would go to a market to sell the sauce. And that was I found that really rewarding as well, because you can see the person tasting the sauce, reacting to it. Yes. Whether they like it, hate it, it burns their mouth, whatever. You get that. They're like, oh, I could put this on this and this and this. And that just kind of fuels your creative engine. Yeah, that's like reaffirmation of like, I'm doing something right here. Yeah. So that was instant feedback, basically. That's awesome. Have you ever made a sauce that bombed? Like, you ever made one that people were just like, oh, this is awful? Not that I've like put out, I would say, but I definitely made some in the kitchen where it was like, nope. That one ain't going anywhere. 180. We're going to go this way. Yeah, there's definitely some. And there were some that, I've worked on, and I would get to a certain point and then I would just be like, I don't know. It's not good enough. Yeah. So, and I don't know what to do next. So we're just going to put it on the back burner. You just shelf it. Shelf it.
Yeah.
Because you can't just sit and dwell in it. You got to keep moving on.
Right. Yeah, and that's where,
and maybe an idea will come back later.
Sure.
And you'll be like, oh,
you can pick up where you left off.
Maybe you learned
this.
more going down the line.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, this is all I needed to do to make this
right.
good.
Yeah.
So
this sauce is right, but it may not be right now.
Right.
But yeah, so that kind of answers the question of like, like your creativity. You can't sit there and mess with one sauce all day long or for weeks on end because you're gonna be spinning your wheels, not putting anything new out.
I mean, sometimes you do get in that obsessive state where it's close.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is it?
Yep.
Is it more of this, more of that, another ingredient, less ingredient?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the whole fun of it though.
Yeah.
That's the creative, like once you get it, then you're like, it was worth it.
Yep.
Whatever.
That's
I've had some sauces where it's like 5 test batches,
mm-hmm.
maybe, or maybe 8.
Yeah.
And then I've had some that were like 20.
Yeah.
So
some
at that point you're like, you get a little frustrated, but
at number 19, you're like, is this really worth it? Like, should I just shelf this one?
Know if it is worth it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell.
You can tell if you're onto something.
Yeah. And then it's just a matter of finding it.
Right. With it. Well, that's super cool. I applaud you for having found something that can that you can be creative and also make a living off of, because it's very oftentimes it's kind of one or the other. Yeah. The starving artist that, sells out or whatever it may be.
I mean, I've heard that, there's a high percentage of thriving artists, not thriving, but like insanely creative artists
mm-hmm.
who you just can't find a way to make the money off of it.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Painting or whatever.
Yeah. Painting, music. I mean,
subjective.
Yeah.
Somebody might love it. Nobody might like it.
Yeah.
And you just got to do you. Like, who's the record producer that did the Beastie Boys?
Rick Rubin. Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen like a lot of his videos lately, and he's just like, you have to be true and authentic to yourself. You have to love it. And if no one else likes it, then that's just the way it is. If everybody, like what the Beastie Boys were doing when they were first starting, nobody had ever done before. It was a completely different sound.
Yes.
But it resonated.
Yep.
Yeah. And no one knew that it would or wouldn't.
Right.
It's just one of those things.
But it's something, that they loved and they believed in.
Right.
So that's why they continue to, and then obviously having someone like Rick Rubin behind you and seeing the potential for it,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm a big Rick Rubin
can't
fan.
imagine like working with him and that would be so inspirational.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah.
But yeah, that's super cool. I'm glad that you have, because that's something that I feel like most people in business strive for, and I'm pumped. It sounds like you got your cake and you're eating it too.
We're doing okay.
We're
not killing it, but
yeah,
like the other thing is like, I'm very small business.
Yes.
So
how many are
to upscale, it's me.
Just you.
I have a couple employees now at the restaurant that do help sometimes
Yep.
to make the sauce or whatever.
Yeah.
But for 5 years,
just you.
Just me.
Yep.
So, and it's really hard. You can only make so much at a time.
Yeah.
And, and then the upscaling is tough because, you can make a ton of sauce, but you have to have like buyers
mm-hmm.
or know that you're going to sell it within a certain amount of time.
Right.
Otherwise you're going to be losing money in the end because you're going to be out of date or whatever.
Throwing away product.
Right. So
that's a really delicate balance that you have to kind of figure out.
So hard to do like everything. To think about, the recipe, making the sauce, going and selling it, advertising it, promoting it.
Yeah.
It's just a lot.
Yeah. I'm struggling to figure out how you do it, because me personally, I feel like I might lose my mind if I had to think of all of those things simultaneously. And you're not only thinking of them, but the products are great. And because ultimately you can't let your quality of product ever suffer. That's number one.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like you have a certain like methodology you follow to help keep this all together? Do you are you writing down on 1 million notebooks?
I mean, yeah, everything's written down, you know.
Yeah.
It's just it's a quality ingredient type of thing.
Yeah.
Like I won't budge on that.
Right.
I won't go for, and if you go and look at like Cholula or some of these other hot sauces, all you gotta do is look at the ingredient list. If it says water first, it's a watered down sauce, and it's not gonna taste as good.
Right.
It might taste fine to you if that's what you're used to using.
Sure.
But if it's water, and then you'll see xanthan gum.
Yeah.
Which thickens it back up.
Yep. So they're using the water.
So yeah.
The
ingredients I use, it's all real ingredients, and I, do the ratios so that it comes out as like the type of thickness or whatever that I want, the taste, the flavor.
Yeah.
It's all like a part of the thing. So
nice. Yeah. So like big.
I could make super cheap sauces if I put water and peppers and vinegar and that's it. It's possible, but I don't want to do that.
Right. You're about quality. You're about quality over quantity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So water as a main ingredient is like,
it's a good way to get your costs down.
For sure. I mean, you just add more water, you can make more sauce, and then you use xanthan gum to then thicken it back up.
Right. But I guarantee you're losing flavor.
For sure. I mean, something's gotta give there.
Yeah.
So that's a cool little piece of information that I'm going to take now.
And once in a while, like someone will be like, this is too expensive, which is fine.
Yeah.
You see those posts on Instagram where like, I'm too expensive for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
But if you want the quality and you want to support a local business, then, you'll spend the money.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's an important piece that, we try to educate people on all the time, is that, small businesses are likely going to be more expensive. They don't have the economies of scale that,
they don't have the money behind them to like bail them out if something would go wrong
exactly. And, but for what in my opinion, with what you're gaining by supporting that local business, you're, every business, if they're making money, is paying taxes. And we're probably paying more taxes than what an individual
get
is.
The corporate tax breaks and all that.
Exactly. So the more business that DreamWorks Roofing does, or the more business that Revolutionary Hot Sauce does, we're going to pay larger tax bills, which is going to have a better, more of an impact on. Right. And I'm happy to pay taxes. I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay too much, but I know if I'm
happy, but
if I'm paying taxes, it means I'm moving in the right direction.
Right.
Right.
And the more the more you put into this, the more, possibility for me to come out with create another sauce
exactly
for you to enjoy.
Yeah. Right.
Hopefully. So open up
a second Revolutionary Hot Sauce in Carlisle.
Yeah.
Right. Service the college kids. I feel like you'd crush it over there.
Yeah. I mean, when we were doing the Wednesday market, we had a decent amount of college kids that would come down.
Yeah.
Or they would buy for their parents, or, my dad would love this. So I'll get it for him for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So
yeah, I feel like Carlisle's done a good job at really supporting small businesses, making their downtown more walkable. Yeah. With the upgrades to the street recently.
Downtown's great.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. Carlisle's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So you took that jump into being a restaurateur essentially. Yeah. And what was the biggest lesson that you learned from like starting that? Because running a restaurant is a very complex business. I've always wanted to open a restaurant myself. I love to cook.
You're hired.
I love dude, I would come work for you for a day. But like I've been enamored with like Bourdain ever since I was a kid. I read all of his books, obviously watched all of his shows, listened to every one of his interviews, and I've always like had this certain like romanticism with cooking and the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
But what was the biggest lesson that you learned in that, like, starting up of a restaurant business? Like, is it food cost, customer service? Because it's
It might be employee management.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
And
that's a good one
because as you're starting out, you don't have a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Like a big corporation might have. We can offer you X amount of dollars per hour, where I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can only offer X amount unless, tons of people are coming in and we're booming. It's like you can't overspend on your food.
Yep.
You can't overspend on like everything.
Yeah.
Like I started out spending way too much on everything, probably. And that's why my money was like gone.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, we have to cut back at every single spot that we can just to like break even, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge learning curve. And I've never had employees before. I've always worked for someone else,
Yep. Yep.
or just myself there for when I was doing the sauce.
Yeah. Just managing yourself.
Yeah. It's been very tough. I think it would be great, like they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Right.
So it'd be really great to have like a team of people.
Yeah.
You can go with.
Yes.
Alone is very tough.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're balancing a lot in your head. Just being, if it's just
So
you,
much.
and you said your girlfriend helps out,
Yeah, she does like my
occasionally.
HR, she does payroll.
Good.
She'll help out when she can. She goes and sells sauce.
Good.
And it's a bit much for her too.
Yeah.
Because she's working her own job
Right.
still. So, and I've only found a few high schoolers who are great.
Mm-hmm.
Great. They show up every time. They work pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we get busy, it's like that's when they work hard. Like,
Right.
And some of the older adults not as good.
Yeah.
And to get somebody that's gonna be good, you'd have to pay them more.
For sure.
So it's a tough spot to be in.
It's a very, very,
there.
very delicate balance for that.
Yeah.
Are you actively looking to hire people now?
I would say yes. Like I'm looking for someone to go to these markets for me. You'd have to have a vehicle that you can fit all the stuff in, like an SUV type of vehicle, truck. But it would be like, and also a thing with that is like the hours would be like 2 to 7.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing anything, you know what I mean? You could do it. That'd be great. It could be like one day. It could be a couple days a week.
Yeah.
But that would really help because I was doing all that. And then when I just started the restaurant, I couldn't.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you got to be there running.
And I had someone to do it for the summer and then they went to college. So it's been tough to find someone for that. And I have someone helping me with making sauce now, but it'd be great to have someone who I could just give it to and I wouldn't have to be there.
Yeah.
But,
allow you to get out and grow
and focus on all the other things.
Sure.
And,
right. I'm going to keep my ear out for you because I know a couple local people that are interested in the restaurant business. I have one in particular.
There's a lot of events that we could be going to if I just had somebody that I could send, even like a 2-day weekend.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And we do pretty good on those big events.
Right.
So it'd be worth it.
Because you can ship your sauces anywhere, right? Do you
yeah.
ship?
Yeah, you can ship and you can order online.
Yeah.
Have them shipped anywhere in the US.
Nice.
But we don't do much wholesale either. We still haven't found like that chain or whatever, that restaurant.
Yeah.
It's tough to break into that. And then, you worry about having enough sauce and making enough to keep them happy.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And also the price point is tough as well.
Yeah, for sure. They're going to cut your margin by 30%.
Yeah.
Because
we were on Hot Ones.
Yes.
I don't know if you knew.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had written down here that I wanted to talk to you about Hot Ones.
Revolutionary.
It was one of my. So is that your flagship?
I guess it is my
sauce?
flagship now.
Yeah.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to try it?
Yeah. Can I try some?
Yeah.
We're gonna do this live on camera. I'm probably gonna tear myself apart. But
brought some spoons.
Which level on?
This is a 4 out of 5.
This was
flames.
4? Okay.
Well, no, on the show.
On the show, where did they?
5 out of 10.
Okay.
Which I thought was a little low.
Yeah, they put you a little low.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. Hot Ones was such a I've loved from the first episode of Hot Ones. I've loved that show.
Loved it, and that is probably one of the reasons why.
Yeah,
I started to make hot sauce at home.
Nice.
Yeah, I saw Sean Evans. Sean Evans did a video with Queen Majesty, and they just made like 2 different hot sauces in her kitchen.
Yeah.
Just like, a sauce you would take to your family, put it in the fridge for 2 weeks.
Sure.
Whatever. And I watched that and I was like, I could probably do that.
Yeah.
And then I just started doing stuff at home and
and that's so Hot Ones could have been where did
I think it inspired many, many hot sauce companies.
I'm sure. Absolutely.
Constantly coming out now today.
Well, I'm going to get a first reaction here real quick.
That was a decent amount.
Yeah. I may have went a little heavy. Dude, it's delicious though. It's hot, but it's got awesome flavor. What's that? It's almost a sweetness to it. Is that a
bell pepper?
Yeah, maybe a bell pepper.
Johnny Scoville says that's my signature. Is my bell pepper. I use bell pepper in most of the sauces.
Yeah.
Just for like a little more savoriness, consistency, cuts the heat a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of these companies go for the hottest of the hot.
Right.
They want to make a name for themselves.
Sure.
I've never been interested in making an insanely hot sauce.
No, because the taste
and flavor is
what
like the whole thing is I want to bring people in who
it's delicious.
Eat like Cholula or Tabasco. And because that's all I knew back before I started too.
Sure.
And then I started finding some of these sauces from the show.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I was like, oh, this tastes amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
so
why don't I see these in the store?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and that's because that's, the corporatization of hot sauce eventually takes over where like, if you're going to mass produce and be in every grocery store, like it's almost impossible. To make a good sauce.
You have to have water and xanthan gum or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. You'll never be able to maintain.
Tabasco doesn't, but
no.
But they're so huge.
Yeah.
And they were the first ones and they make so much and they barrel it and
Yeah.
I believe it's just vinegar, salt, peppers. That might be it.
So it's pretty simple ingredient list.
It's pretty simple ingredient list.
Yeah.
And you get a certain flavor with that. And that's all you'll get.
That's all you get. No more, no less.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's good on certain things.
Right.
But
so how did Hot Ones affect like did you see a pretty decent jump in with Hot Ones? Did you see
only that like they bought a ton of bottles. And Torchbearer helped me to make that.
Oh yeah,
because I only make a certain amount. So they liked this one a lot. They wanted it, but I'm like, all right, but I can't.
Yeah.
And then they're like, Torchbearer's been on many times, and they were there when they first started, I believe. So
yeah,
they're kind of friends with them.
Yeah, it was one of the first sauces.
They've done that other things for them.
Yeah.
So they're like, let me talk to them and see if we can do it. And they did it, and I had to give Torchbearer their cut.
Sure.
The show gives you a lot less because they know you're going to want to be on Hot Ones.
Of course.
You're not going to say no.
Yeah.
We're only going to give you X amount per case.
Oh, that's lame.
Which is, but it's a lot though. It's still a lot.
Yeah.
And it's exposure. So you can't complain.
Right.
You're like, all right, cool.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting your product out there one way or another.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And so now I have like clips of, famous people trying my sauce, which is cool. David Chang.
Nice.
He was on my season. John Bernthal, Jimmy Kimmel, Megan Thee Stallion, Tom Holland.
Nice.
A lot of cool people. Salma Hayek, I think.
What was David Chang's reaction as a chef?
there were so many. Like he likes spice.
Yeah.
But a lot of chefs don't love hot.
Yeah.
You want to taste the food.
So like I would think someone who appreciates food would appreciate this sauce because I still have my mouth is still hot. But
this sauce was like it was called the heating up moment.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody would have it, and then like 15 seconds later, they're like,
oh, there it is.
This is hot.
Yeah, it starts to turn up the heat,
choking. And
yeah, no,
whatever.
It's perfect. I really enjoyed that sauce.
I couldn't get anybody to actually say the name of the sauce.
Yeah,
until Tom Holland, the very last person, he was like, "Oh, this really is revolutionary."
Nice.
So
nice.
I got that. That's
cool. Well, I have to see if I can up my podcast skills and put in a couple clips of your episode cool. into this here.
Cool. It did have the Hotheads label, which we could talk about if you want.
Hotheads, yeah,
that was the original name I came up with was Hotheads.
Hotheads, yeah,
because I'm a bit of a redhead.
Yes, me too.
And so I'm like, yeah,
it kind of
makes sense.
I was reading the bottle. And I saw that on here. It says Hotheads Official LLC.
Yeah.
And now you are Revolutionary Hot Sauce.
Right.
Tell me.
So whenever you're starting out a business and you're an artist and you're not a businessman, you don't think about these things.
Yep.
You don't think about your trademark or starting an LLC. You're just like, I want to make it and get it out there and sell it to people.
Yeah.
And I think probably a lot of people have made that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But so I'm here to say, get your trademarks before you start doing anything.
Oh no!
Because you'll get a cease and desist.
Yep.
And then you'll have to you'll have to rebrand everything, and it'll cost a lot of money.
Yes. Yeah.
Money that you don't want to spend on rebranding.
No.
But you want to grow the business.
Yep.
So
you received a cease and desist. I'm assuming from another company called Hotheads. No.
Well. Kind of. Hothead
burrito. Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that.
We can cut.
They didn't sue me.
Yeah.
I agreed to change.
Sure.
So
yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah.
I think.
I think you're covered there.
It was annoying.
Yes.
And frustrating, but this one was the one that was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's called Revolutionary. I think I can make that work.
Yeah.
That's like the new name.
Yeah.
Because I believe my sauce is revolutionary in flavor and taste. So it kind of worked out.
Nice.
And I like it now. And I decided to use my face with this. I took this photo like in my kitchen just being stupid on it someday when I was messing with peppers.
Yeah.
And then somebody turned that into like this cartoon image of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had put it on my spice blends.
Mm-hmm.
Just to change it up because there wasn't room for like the Hotheads originally.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I like this as a logo. It promotes me.
Yeah. No, I think it's
on everything. So
I think it's perfect. I mean, you are the creator, visionary, chef, taster, thought maker. You are the creative engine behind this. So I think it's only like I think it's a perfect move.
Face to a name, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think it's a great move. But yeah, sauce super good. It's so good. I might actually have a little bit more.
Well, we have other ones too. If you want to try some other ones.
Yeah, I will.
Where were we? I don't know.
Who knows? So when did you? I see you opened like you started making a bunch of other things. When did all that kind of come about? Started to make pretzels and
like the pretzels and the nuts happened first.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably one of our first beer fests that we were ever at, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lady, Sweet G's, who was selling pretzels from Pine Grove.
Okay.
She was at the beer fest. I was like, oh, she had a bunch of pretzels.
Yeah.
None of them were spicy. I was like, we should do a collaboration, make a spicy pretzel. I'll sell you the powder. You can, blend it up, package it. So that's how that started.
Nice.
And I know, we have like smoked cheddar and honey mustard onion, and we also made super hots of those as well.
Nice.
But you can get those in the store or at the restaurant. Everything's available at the restaurant now.
Yes.
I never had a storefront until I opened the restaurant.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
I'm gonna come down. I can think of my my father-in-law would be obsessed with these.
Yeah, they're really great with a beer or whatever. These are not super hot. They're like medium hot.
Mm-hmm.
You can eat like a good amount of these.
Yeah.
No problem.
Oh, dude,
Super
so
hots are super hot.
Yeah.
You got to really want that burn to get into those. And so that was the first collaboration. And then I met David Mills from Smoking Pickles at PA Flavor, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That was a natural kind of collaboration. He
Yeah.
had a smoker. I wanted to do something smoked.
Yep.
So he just gave me the ingredients and I worked on it.
Nice.
Brought it back to him when I thought it was ready, and he was like, all good.
Yeah. Yeah, Smoking Pickles was great. I loved that place.
Yeah, and he was doing a lot of different things. Yeah, it's cool.
But I'm glad something just as worthy took took its place, because I mean it was. I remember I got my Thanksgiving turkey from them, and then that was it.
Right.
That was like basically ended there. So I was pumped when I heard that you were opening up there, because I was like, well, at least it's not going to sit empty. At least there's another place that's serving good food.
Right.
I was going back in there, and would kind of like a continuation of Smoking Pickles almost. Yeah,
definitely.
Very cool. So where was I? So you're running the restaurant. Collaborations. Ooh, I have a really good question for you. This is one that I want a restaurant owner's opinion on. What are your thoughts on delivery apps like DoorDash, all of those, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all of those things? Are they necessary in the market? And maybe not are they necessary, but what kind of impact do they have? Because I'll tell you, I saw a P&L from a restaurant one time, and they blurred out their name, and they're like, this is what delivery apps are actually doing to restaurants.
Yeah.
So
I believe a recent John Oliver episode covers this extensively too.
Oh, I missed that.
So if you want to check that out,
I will.
Yeah, they take a lot of money.
Yes.
If you want their service, you're giving up, and it's. I mean, when people order through that from us, we're barely making anything.
Yeah. That's what I thought, man.
And all the even just the to-go items that you're using to send out the food.
Yep.
That costs something.
Yep.
So I would highly, highly recommend people, if they can, get out of your house, come down to the restaurant, get the food in person, or you can call and pick it up yourself. And that way, we get paid, we can pay our employees, and we're not, it's almost a scratch thing when they order through Uber or DoorDash. And I think it is necessary to have it.
Sure.
Because if you don't, other people will.
If you don't, you're going to get left behind by the other companies who do.
Seems like people don't want to leave their house much these days.
Yeah.
They want to stay in their pajamas.
Yep.
They want to get the food brought to them.
Yep.
But yeah, that's great if you want to do that. But whenever we make the food, right, and we bring it out to you, it's best right then and there.
100%.
It's super hot, just came out. If it's traveling, if it's waiting to get picked up, then it's traveling to you, and then you're going to have it later.
Yep. It's
just not going to be as good.
Yeah. I mean, that food is at best, 15, 20 minutes old. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you went to a restaurant, you wouldn't get your meal delivered to you. Someone comes out and brings you your plate, and then you're like, you know what? I'm going to sit here and look at this for 20 minutes before I start eating it.
Certain things don't travel as well as others.
Yeah.
You're losing quality.
Yeah.
So I would recommend coming out.
100%.
It doesn't take that much effort.
No.
You're going to get the highest quality, and that doesn't go for just me. It goes for every restaurant. Right?
Yes. Yeah. That's my PSA for this episode is not to tear down DoorDash or tear down Uber Eats. These are all businesses that have their place in the world, and they helped a lot of businesses stay afloat during the pandemic. And so they definitely have a place, but somebody loses in these transactions, and it's unfortunately it is the people that
the drivers
make the food.
The drivers too are not
You're
compensated
You're right.
all that well either. So
no, yeah, they're getting paid as
but
1099s.
the one thing you can do is you can get our products in the DoorDash order, which is cool.
That's nice.
You can get a sauce, run it out of that,
right?
Add that to my thing, and then we're still losing a little bit of money, but
Sure,
we're actually making better money on that
right.
than the meal.
Than the meal, yeah.
So that's one thing.
Yeah.
Our beer, by the way, we can't do takeout, but we can do, if you bring in a growler or crowler, we can fill that with our beer. You can take that.
Nice.
So we can't sell anybody else's beer for takeout, but we can sell our own with our G license.
Yes.
License,
so that's you're like, I feel like you're in my head of where I'm trying to take this, trying to take these questions. But now I just want to ask you questions because there's things that I'm curious about. Yeah, don't chew on the mic. How does that brewery license work? Because I think it's really cool that you started serving beers down there, and that's what makes me think that people should come in even more because you have it's all local brews, right? So how does that work? It has to be a local brew, right? In order to has to be a PA brew. Okay, so by getting out of your house, not utilizing DoorDash, talking to another human being, not only are you're supporting Tim and his small business, you're supporting likely other small businesses in Pennsylvania that are brewing beer that is delicious. What are some of the beers that you're holding on tap right now?
We have a Pilsner, we have a hazy.
Nice.
We have a hazy with habanero. Ooh. We also have a New England IPA. We have a West Coast IPA that's like 8.6%. So crazy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm also working on a jalapeno lime Kolsch that I'm probably kegging later.
Ooh. So a lot of these beers are your beers that you're brewing, huh?
Yeah. We only have like 8 beers on tap right now. So maybe 9 we'll have. And like I said, it's like every time I make a little bit of money, then I'm putting it back into something. So like, I had to get a kegerator.
Yep.
Recently, and that was a big cost. But just little things, slowly growing.
Yes.
That's all I can do at this point. But hopefully people just keep coming out and telling other people and promoting, and
yes,
it's going to be good for like everybody.
Yeah.
Our employees especially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Know? I mean, there's
keep them employed.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're all like good, hardworking kids. So
yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah. Well, that's I mean, that's going to be our PSA here for this episode is, get people down, support you. This is these pretzels are delicious. You're awesome. The hot sauce is awesome. Like,
they're revitalizing the square.
Yes.
So
that should benefit you.
That should benefit us when it's done.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a year or more.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. But hopefully, and then they'll be having events down there, and that's only less than half a block away.
Yep.
So hopefully people come down. Jubilee Day.
Yep.
This will be our second Jubilee Day.
Nice.
I think the first one, like, no one even knew we were there.
Yeah. Because I don't know if you had a sign at the last.
We had A-frames.
Yeah, that's what it was.
We didn't have our big sign.
The big sign that's hanging up.
It took a long time to get that.
Yeah.
I was having so much trouble with sign companies.
Really?
Like, even getting someone to call me back.
Really?
It's crazy.
Yeah, that was
It's crazy.
Yeah, I remember noticing because I knew you were there from knowing where Smoking Pickles was. But yeah, the sign I didn't know. It definitely took a long time to get that.
Yeah, and I think some people
get that sign up.
Possibly some people think that we're just a hot sauce company or whatever.
Yeah,
but it does say Eatery Brewpub.
Yep.
Below the sign now, so
yes.
I hope people people are stopping and saying like, "Hey, we saw the sign."
Yeah.
So we're, even though it's been a year, I feel like we're still brand new, and people are still finding us, and
absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've been running my business for 9 years now, and I still feel brand new some days. I mean, compared to people who have been around for 25 or 30 or 40 or more years, all things considered, it is pretty brand new. So definitely give yourself a little credit there that like you should be impressed with what you have so far, because
and the space is really beautiful. Like inside, it's not amazing, but it's like it's nice, it's neat, it's clean.
Yeah.
We got some nice decorations and paintings on the wall, and all our hot sauces on display, snacks, everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm working on kind of implementing. Hopefully, I can do more when summer comes with like the kids and stuff. But just like making the sauce and making the spice blends. I haven't even made the spice blends for probably 2 years because I've just been busy.
Yeah.
No time and
right.
You know.
So what's something that like right now, what's something that would if everybody did it, I know like obviously coming in and supporting you, but how, like, what could we all do today to help spread the word about this hot sauce?
Yeah, I mean, tag us, any kind of Facebook, Instagram, we're on there, like at Rev Hot Sauce Eatery Brewpub. That's the restaurant. At Revolutionary Hot Sauce is the main one for the hot sauce. Just tagging us, share with a friend. If it's like a Father's Day, Mother's Day, whatever, send a bottle of sauce to somebody who you know likes hot sauce. Or if you don't really love hot sauce, but you know someone who does, let them know.
Yeah.
To check us out. The website's really good. And then if they're local, bring them in.
Yeah.
Have a little group get together.
Yeah.
We started to do like a bourbon and cigar night.
You working with 611?
Around 611.
Yeah.
Yep. Working with
611.
611.
Yeah, I'm not sure. One of the two.
Either way.
Yeah.
It's a cool spot now that's also downtown.
Yes.
I think they just set up like an outside lounge as well.
Yep. Out back.
So that's cool. They came over last month and we had like 8 people.
Nice.
It was nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully it keeps growing from there.
Yeah.
We have Hidden Still bourbon. We have like Hidden Still everything. Which we love all their products. They've been there since like the beginning when we could start having PA made stuff.
Yeah.
And then I also got I got like a mid-state bourbon. I've got a couple other bourbons that are made in or bottled in PA. So that's really fun. The beer, I'm going to continue to work on beers that have some spice.
Yeah.
Which
I think that's a fun.
Many people are doing that. I'm sure there's a few, but
yeah, I had one somewhere. I would love to try another one. I had one somewhere at another local brewery, and I'll tell you, I don't think I've ever hated a beer more than that one. It was like, wow. and I don't know. It was very spicy. Like it was almost too spicy.
Yeah.
That I was hurting.
It can be.
I was hurting. But
I've had that before too.
Yeah. I would love to try.
You don't want it to like impede your drinking.
Exactly.
Enjoyment.
Yeah.
You know
what I mean? Like a little
bit.
Like a little bite would be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one I had was just like way too spicy. It's like,
yeah.
Oh my God, I hate this.
Yeah. So like, I'm probably going to do one with some smoke. I'm probably going to do one that would like mimic some of the other sauces. And
yeah.
And we also have the collaboration with Trogs.
Oh,
just forgot about that one. The pumpkin harvest hot sauce.
So you collabed with Trogs, huh?
Yeah.
Very cool.
I was talking with John Trogner, and he's actually allergic to alliums, which is like onions, garlic. And so he was like, "Can you make a sauce with no onion, no garlic?" And I was like, "Maybe."
It's a challenge, but
never have before.
Yeah.
They pretty much all have onion and garlic.
That's the basis of most things that taste good.
Right.
I think.
I mean, So yeah, so I set the work on. I was like, well, maybe this like pumpkin yam kind of sauce.
Yeah.
Maybe it would work good with like some of the IPAs or the ambers that they have.
Yeah.
So I was working on that for a while and came up with something, and him and his chef really liked it. They had me tweak it a little bit. And then so we came up with that, and they sell that in their store.
Nice.
So that's really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about getting together with like someone like Torchbearer to like use them as like a co-packer or something? Because they probably have a big co-packing facility and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, their facility is big.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we were making, they had just got it before I was on Hot Ones, which was like maybe 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, we made like 8,000 bottles in a day.
Yeah, that's
they could do more than that too.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And if there was an opportunity Like I was trying to get in touch with Bert Kreischer about making a hot sauce, but and I've sent him sauces and he likes them, and he's like he shouted me out on like some of his stories. For like the lemon drop and stuff. But I think it's just too much going on maybe, and it just never worked out. I was supposed to meet him at Hershey, and like they had their phones off after the show. And I was like, hey, I'm here waiting. And they're like, nothing. Then they messaged me like 2 hours later after I got home. I was like, damn. But so, you know, and I'm talking to another comedian about a hot sauce, which I have to get to work on. So I sent him some. He wanted it to be a little bit different, so I have to rework it. But I think that's a great angle for you to. Because that's part. I love podcasts. I love comedy. I always have. I love music, and always been kind of creative in that way. So it makes sense. I think. Maybe we can get Shane. Maybe we can get Shane Gillis. He's actually one of my marks for this show. I made a statement once before, but I'll make it again. Like I'm gonna have him on this show. Shane, you should do the show. Shane, you should do the show. Shane, you should come to the restaurant. Eat at Revolutionary Hot Sauce. Come talk to me. Go down the road, have a chicken sandwich and a beer. I know he did an event at that coffee shop. Noir. Noir, which is nice. And good PR, I'm sure. Well, and that's his family is involved in that business. Are they? I don't want to misquote it, but his sister is the one who runs the place. Okay. And their daughter is Noir, and so that's cool. So I think Shane is involved in that business somehow too. So that's it's all done by them. So big shout out to Noir. It's a great place, great great mission behind their business. Go support them. Absolutely. And then Shane, come get our podcast. Anyways, but besides that, so but he's been one of my marks, to have him as a Mechanicsburg native. Come on the really show. Cool. And, I know I think he's essentially a small business. I mean, he's a big business. He's a big business now, but like I love stories. So I want to hear, his come up of, bumming around the Harrisburg comedy scene. Have you seen that clip where he talks about like his like claim to fame? He's like, I failed all of them, but technically I get credit for all of them. Like join the whatever branch of the army he was in or whatever. What did he say? He's like, I'm technically a decorated veteran D1 football player. D1, failed at all but he failed at all of them, but it all like technically on paper during a time of war, right? Right. That's cool. That's hilarious. So you said you're really into music. This is an interesting question that I like to ask on podcasts sometimes, or I've been interviewing our people here to kind of just get used to this podcast setup. And one of the questions I've been asking is, name me a song that you can sing from beginning to end every single time. And no matter how bizarre it may be, because I don't think you're gonna be able to. I don't think you're gonna be able to stop me. Do it, but no. Baby Got Back. Yeah, I mean, of course, Baby Got Back. I think most people could probably do that one. Probably Ice Ice Baby is probably one. Nice. Jump Around. Yeah, you like old hip hop? Yeah. What was your? I did it somewhere at a party, and it was a little embarrassing because I screwed it up. Yeah. Actually, I think I did Baby Got Back perfectly at like a wedding thing. Nice. And then recently I tried to do Jump Around and I lost it like halfway through. Yeah. That's a tough one. I did it's a lot. Yeah. I did Wu-Tang at a karaoke night one time. Mixed results there, Yeah. Mixed results. Tough one. Yeah. Just crowd wise. Yeah. Crowd wise. You're not gonna get everybody. No. Some people were like, yeah, Wu-Tang, and most people were like, please shut up. Like we're trying to hear Journey, Don't Stop Believing. We don't want to hear Wu-Tang. Protect your neck. Yeah, exactly. What kind of? But you said you used to play music too. Yeah. I played guitar. I was in a band. I didn't start until I was like in senior year. Mm-hmm. So I started late, and it was just to do a battle of the bands at the end of the year. Yeah. And then one thing led to another. I was in a band for X amount of years,
Nice.
and we did a couple cassettes and EPs or whatever.
Yeah.
And, Nirvana and the Deftones and
Yeah.
Weezer and
Yeah.
Local H, all those bands kind of were the force behind it, I guess. And
that's a big part.
It's part of that. I'm a young man and I don't know what to do or what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I so wish I could go back to when I was 20 and be like, I'm starting a hot sauce company.
Yeah.
And just how far ahead I would be now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If I had started something early. So, yeah, I would advise people to find something that you love to do and get out there and just start doing it somehow, some way.
Yep.
Even if you have to do it for free.
Yep.
If you have to intern with someone, make yourself of service.
Yeah. Yep.
Learn.
Get in
the ground floor, whatever. If you love it, just do it. And maybe you'll find an audience, maybe you won't.
Right.
But then you'll know.
Yes.
And you'll learn and you'll know if it's a viable thing or not.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always been my biggest that's something I tell people is I'm like, just try everything. Like, literally do everything.
Yeah.
I screwed up a lot of stuff in my life. Like, I messed around for entirely too long, acted like an idiot, just did whatever, you know what I mean? But one thing I did do right was I did every job I could possibly do. And it helped me to land on, knowing what I like to do so I could find that balance of creativity and still making a living and not selling my soul to something that I hate doing.
Yeah. Like with the hot sauce, it was just like, do it. Just start doing it.
Yep.
Things will happen. I screwed up on the trademarking, but a lot of other things did work.
Right.
And it led me to this point so far. And,
and mistakes are going to happen.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's inevitable. Everyone's going to screw up. What's the most expensive mistake that you made? Was it the rebrand?
It was that. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think,
yeah. Yeah. That was my
tough
most
one.
Yeah.
Because, there's like tents that are branded and backdrops and tablecloths and
all that stuff.
Metal signs.
Yep. All gone.
Yep. Like,
can't be used anymore.
Yeah. Do I keep it for aesthetics or do I just toss it in the trash?
Yep. Yeah. Like, you don't want to throw it away. You want to keep it as a memento, possibly.
A little bit. Yeah. Like, when you go into Trogs and there's like their very first brew.
Yeah.
Whatever that they used when they first started. It's kind of like that. Like, should I save it? Maybe.
Yeah.
It's where it started.
I think it's worth holding on to. I think it's worth holding on to a couple things to, remind you where you came from. So I'll start to wrap it up here. Where you, like, 5 years? Where would you like to see, revolutionary hot sauce?
Oh man, that's a good question. It's kind of hard to look that far down the line, although I know you should.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to.
It's a plan.
Yeah.
But it would be really nice to be able to like step back a little bit and have other people carrying out what I want.
Yeah.
What I want to see. And then it would only be for the purpose of freeing me up to be more creative.
Yeah.
And come up with
new
stuff.
Newer, cooler, better sauces.
Yeah.
More interesting stuff.
That basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where I really want to be, is just the creating.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
and going to shows and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be famous, I don't think, but it'd be cool to be like, Super Hot came out, the show.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people in the show.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I know Jimmy Pickles. I know, Johnny Scoville. And I've never met them in person, but with online.
Yeah.
You know people. I've talked to them like multiple times.
Yeah.
And Troy Primo Pepper. And
Yep.
It's just like, it's cool. I almost went down to what was that? There was a Netflix thing too, where it was like the We Are Champions.
Yeah.
Where they had like a hot sauce eating festival thing.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
It was run by Puckerbutt.
Yep.
And I almost went down to that, but didn't, because I had to be here doing something, selling sauce or whatever.
Yep.
And it's like, it'd be nice to have a little leeway to
a little freedom to go do the things like that.
Go and promote with people or collab or other stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that's a great goal. You know, I mean, that's where everyone wants to get, where you're just working on your business and not in your business. You know, you're not the one, you know.
Yeah. Cause if you're, what do they call that? CEO. What was it called? Like if you're the everything officer.
Yeah. CEO. Yeah. Chief everything officer.
Chief everything officer. Yeah. Then you're not seeing like the big picture because you're focused right here.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. And that's, you know, it's you know, there to a certain extent, you never quite get out of that, but I know, you know, that's definitely, that's as good a goal as any, you know, it's as good a goal as any, because that's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to grow this awesome business and get it to the next step.
And
so
just more time with my kid.
Yeah. Oh man, we didn't even talk about that. You got kids in this situation too.
I have a 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Just turned 11.
Man.
And you know, I only have him like half the time anyway, but it's tough when you got to be at the restaurant all day and they have to come with you. And
absolutely.
It's like, you know.
That's tough. I mean, you're setting a good example though, you know, at the end of it, of all things, you know, at least, because that's something that I feel very guilty about, is the amount of time that I spend away from my kids. And then on weekends, I still have to, you know, they're off school and, you know, they still don't get to see me sometimes if I'm doing a work event or whatever it may be.
Right.
But you know, you're setting the right example that, you know, you can take an idea and you can run with it and you can find happiness and balance in business and life. So, you know,
that's true. And going after your dream or whatever.
Right.
It's a good example.
Yeah. It's the best example there is, to have someone right there in front of you.
I mean, in
front of you doing it.
I want
like
him
that.
to go after stuff like that too. If you really want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to either be fulfilling or maybe make you happy, or the both.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
but at least he knows that it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, but yeah, so I feel for you on the kids front. You know, having kids in business is just a whole other
you can
level.
run like the whole like system out front and take your order.
Nice. So you got him working in the business
too. He can get
you
drinks. He can get you a soda.
Nice. You can't pour the beers, right?
No, he can't pour the beers. Can't pour the beers. Can't touch the beer. But yeah, he's a good kid.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I'll be in for some lunch here. I'd like to bring me and everybody and my staff over to just have a big old lunch. I know I stopped in. I got a sandwich years ago when you guys first opened, but I haven't been back in since. I know Moses has been back in a couple times, but yeah, man, I really respect what you're doing here. I think the sauces are absolutely delicious. All the products, the whole package here is awesome, and I know it's gonna work, and I know it's gonna get bigger and better. We just need to get the word out about awesome businesses like you. So, to wrap things up, you know, give me again, who's Tim Myers? What's your business? You know, what are your hours? Where can we find you? And, you know, give us a shout out about you one more time.
Just a person trying to be creative and create some products that everyone can enjoy. Don't be afraid of spice, because it can come in all different shapes, levels. Everything on the menu at the restaurant can be made non-spicy.
Nice.
Pretty much, except for like the Nashville hot.
Yeah.
So we can do a myriad of things. We have sauces that are super mild, medium, hot, extra hot. So don't be afraid, and come on in and check us out. And we'll also be, I'm sure, selling at different markets. We'll be at Capona.
Nice.
We'll be at a lot of different places. The Brew Fest down by the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of different events coming up.
Nice. So we can look for you wherever there's local events.
Yeah.
We can find y'all and
just come to the restaurant.
Yep.
It's the best way to support us now.
Yeah.
Is the restaurant. Get some food, pick up a bottle of sauce, whatever.
Yeah.
That would help tremendously.
Got it.
Keep us going.
Got it.
Because I don't want to stop.
Yeah.
So
no, we don't want to stop this, man. We want to keep it going, because the sauce is really, really good. You're, like I said, you're awesome.
Thank you for having me.
This is exactly what this podcast was made for, was to build up people and businesses like you that are doing the right thing and truly care about the products and service that they're putting out.
Yeah.
You know. So
Support downtown Mechanicsburg.
Support downtown Mechanicsburg. That's right. There's a lot of great businesses down there, including Tim and so many others. A lot of other people that are going to be on the podcast here, because Mechanicsburg is a really, really cool town. Parking might kind of suck sometimes, but there is parking down there.
Free parking.
You just got to find it. It's free parking. So
every street free.
Yeah, every street is free parking. You can't get that in Harrisburg. So
that's right, or Carlisle.
Or Carlisle. All right. Well, this has been another episode of the Worx Podcast. Tim, thanks again, man. It's seriously been awesome to sit here and get to know you. Revolutionary Hot Sauce, Eatery and Brewpub. Find them right in Mechanicsburg. Seriously awesome. Go check them out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.